Hello everybody, welcome to 将棋ラーメン TV. いらっしゃいませ。Let's enjoy 将棋 with me. Today, I will introduce the professional games of the final match of the NHK tournament. Okay, and this game was Sente Inaba versus Gote Saitou. Okay, let's see. This looks the Aigakari's openings, but the Sente chose the Kakugawari. Bishop exchange and move the silver. And this pawn is very interesting, and I think the latest one, joseki. So in the past, the moving the silver is the most popular way to protect the exchange the pawn, this pawn. But this silver has a risk against the knight attack. So for example, this kind of the knight attack would happen against this silver. So this silver position is the bad position against the knight. And this is no castle, but this attack would be the one way, and it's sometimes difficult to defend. So this pawn means keep the silver this position. If the knight jump but the silver is not here, it's difficult to attack. And Sente can exchange this pawn, but in the modern shogi, just exchanging pawn is not so good value, because the Sente has many moves for the exchanging pawn. Sente can take a pawn, but he spent the moves, and instead of the moves, Gote can move for the castle. And this pawn looks Sente can drop the bishop, but it's a trap. Gote can drop the bishop. This bishop against the bishop is a good move, and this bishop cannot move this line, and also another line. So then needs to take, and just lost of the one move. Okay, so cannot drop the bishop here, and then chose the gold here. This gold is a defensive way, and if Sente chose the jumping knight attack, the gold initial position would be better, because the king is here. So if the gold move here, then silver can move here. So this is the modern shogi joseki, and it's very difficult. Okay. And against pushing pawn, in the past, pushback is a typical way, but in the latest joseki, the pushback another line is the popular way, and then push back this pawn. Okay. And there is a possibilities to ignore this pawn, and Gote chose this way. So the good point for the Gote to ignore this pawn is Gote can start to attack from the Gote. So this is a good point. Of course, there is a bad point, because only the Sente has a good escape route for the king, and it's difficult to attack from the edge. And Sente got the push pawn again. This has a good meaning for the king. King can escape to this position in the end game. And there is another steps. So I prefer to move the rook first and next the gold, because this gold and rook position has a risk the fork bishop. I have experienced that this attack, this looks bad attack, but it's sometimes difficult to defend. Dropping the gold to attack the knight, it's not so easy to defend. For example, defend by rook and push pawn, and push pawn, sacrifice the lance and drop the pawn. This kind of the attack is not so easy to defend. So I prefer to move the rook first and the next gold. But I think there is a good defense, and professional players of course know the way to defend. Then finally the position is same. And moving the king and enter the king, and from here Gote started to attack. This king position will be the in danger against the rook, because on the line of the rook. So Gote try to attack using the knight and getting the pawn. And at this timing, in the past, dropping the pawn is the most popular way. But if dropping the pawn, the next Gote can attack using the knight like this. It's difficult to defend this kind of attack. So in the latest, this gold will be chosen. This gold is strong against this line's attack. The gold can take the pawn, and also king can, if the king escapes to the edge, this gold is a good defense. And this gold position has a risk to drop the bishop, but in the latest style, the rook is here, so rook defend and eliminate the position to drop the bishop from opponent. So I think that this rook enables the gold to move here. And Gote enter the king and move the gold to near the king. And Gote move the king again. So the Gote chose the Sennichite because of the Gote. The Sennichite is the one strategy of the Gote, and the Sente has to attack something. And Sente chose the attack from this pushing pawn. This looks risky, and the Gote tried to attack counter against. Now silver is away from the castle, but Sente tried to kill the knight. This is a very strong defense. But Gote has a way to attack, and this sacrifice of the knight is very interesting attack. But after sacrifice, Gote can drop the bishop to fork the gold and knight. And against this bishop, Sente used the knight to defend the boss. If the gold escape, Gote can take the knight, and dropping the knight looks the kill the bishop, but the bishop can sacrifice the silver and drop the silver. It's very strong attack, rook and gold. So the dropping the knight is a good defense. And sacrifice the bishop because the next gold can escape and to kill the bishop. So only way is the sacrifice of the bishop and drop the gold to continue attack. This gold is very strong, and this pawn is already prepared, and the next pawn can promote it. So the remove this pawn is the most important than the protect this knight. So take the pawn, and Gote can take the knight and escape the silver. So next attack, Gote chose the pushing pawn, and Sente ignores this pawn. If take this pawn, the Gote can use the silver. So now only the gold and the knight, it's difficult to attack, but if the silver can join this attack, so Gote's attack will be very strong. So this pushing pawn cannot take, and Sente try to attack from here. If take this pawn, Sente can attack from here. And then if take by silver and drop the pawn is a tesuji to accelerate attack, and take the silver and jumping knight and dropping the pawn. So Sente can attack by using the knight and the pawn. If taken by the pawn, Sente can drop the pawn again. This is the pawn tesuji called tsugifu. If take this pawn, knight can jump, and pushing pawn and take pawn. Sente lost the knight, but this pawn is very strong. Next, dropping dropping the bishop will be the very strong attack. So Gote couldn't take this pawn and chose the attack here. And this pawn is next promo, so taken by the silver, and gold move here, escape the silver, because next gold can take the silver and take gold and look here. This is a check and attack to the gold, then escape the silver, and silver works well to defend this pawn. And then this pushing pawn, dropping the pawn is a tesuji to move the silver to the bad place. And after that, drop the knight to continue attack. And Sente try to remove the knight. Knight can promote it. Gold escape. And dropping the pawn. This is the tesuji to accelerate the attack. Sente cannot ignore and remove the pawn. And this pawn is nice tesuji to create the place to drop the pawn in the future. And take the pawn. And Sente defend this position, but if Sente attack something, Gote can drop the pawn and taken by the gold and attack by the promoted knight. This is very strong attack. And if gold escape and attack by the gold and the promoted knight, this attack is very strong. So the Sente has to defend this position and move the gold. And next, dropping the pawn will be the good way. And this pawn is a tesuji. If the taken by the promoted knight, this promoted knight doesn't work well in the future. And take, and dropping the knight to continue attack. And in this position, Sente has Gote has only the gold, so it's difficult to continue attack. Then Gote try to take more pieces. And this is tesuji. And take by, if the take by silver, and Sente can drop the pawn and jump the knight. And this sacrifice is very nice sacrifice to open this line. So drop the bishop on this line is very important because this bishop can attack to the king, and also the defense can defend this position. So that this bishop has two meanings. And dropping the knight to defend. And dropping the pawn. Take by gold and dropping the pawn. So these are all the pawn tesujis to move the pieces from the castle. And this pawn looks very slow, but it's very strong attack. So for example, if the Gote chose the slow attack like this, Sente can take the promoted, take the knight and take the silver. So in this situation, this bishop is very strong, and next drop the knight. It's a very strong attack. So this pawn looks slow but very strong. And then Gote try to remove the bishop by dropping the gold. And this sacrifice of the pawn is a way to create a space to move the knight. And then dropping the pawn tesuji again. And this dropping the bishop is also important to keep this line. This line is important factor in this game because both of the king is on this line. So this bishop also works well for the attack and defense. And dropping the knight. Escape the gold. Take the pawn. And dropping the knight to continue attack. And take the silver each other. and dropping the gold to continue attack. Now is a chance that because the bishop moved this line, and this pawn is a good defense. If the take this gold, king can escape to the left side. Left side is very wide and it's difficult to beat a checkmate, so this pawn is a very nice defense, but there is a good attack. This dropping bishop is a very nice attack. This is a check and attack to the bishop, so the bishop has to take and move the gold here. This gold position is very nice, and this is an attack to the silver and attack to this position. So if the silver escape, the dropping the silver is a very strong attack. Drop the knight. So the gote has no time to escape the silver. So then the attacking to the rook is the way to defend, and getting the rook is the fastest way to create the checkmate. And rook escape and dropping the pawn. Rook escape again. And this silver is a very strong attack to the rook and gold. So in this situation, rook cannot escape. And also, if the gold escape and take the silver, gote take the rook, and the rook is very nice piece for the checkmate. But there is a tsume, very long tsume, but the sensei Inaba found it in just 30 seconds. Very strong. Let's see. Dropping the silver. Take. And the next move is very strong. Dropping the gold. This is very strong. And the king cannot escape because the materials is enough. And take sacrifice of the knight. And promoted the rook is very strong attack. And gote chose the escape and dropping the bishop. And gold king escape here. And next move is very nice move. Sacrifice of this bishop. If take this promoted bishop, there is a easy tsume, just dropping the gold, so that this promoted bishop cannot be taken. King has to escape and dropping the knight. And gote resigned at this timing. So how to checkmate? Let's see from this case. This case is the most easy case. Dropping the gold, escape, and check. This is checkmated. And if the escape to this position, drop the gold, take, and take the pawn, and drop the gold. This is also checkmated. And this case is most complicated. And drop the gold, escape, take, escape. If take the Viking, the promoted bishop, and it's more easy case. And escape the king, and drop the gold, take, and drop the rook, escape, and the rook checkmated. Okay. Thank you very much. See you next ramen. Bye bye.